Alright, so that was episode 11. I'm getting close. Only 2 more episodes after this. But again, this has been a pretty series. Even the best episodes is like, what, a 7.5. When Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, when they had their best episodes, that was like close to a 10 in my book. Some of those episodes are incredible in my opinion, especially some episodes in Jessica Jones and Daredevil Season 2. Anything with the Punisher is terrific. All of them also had charismatic leads, which at least you could say, hey, if it's a meh episode, at least you have this character who I like, so I want to see what happens to them. Here you just don't have that. And episode 11 really shows that off. You don't really care for Danny, and you will see why when I talk about what this whole episode's about, okay? The first thing we see in this episode is a flashback to when Danny first got the Iron Fist back in Kung Bao, or wherever, Kung Lao, whatever, Kung Pao, wherever he's from, his place. And he wakes up in front of a cave, and Davos, his friend, shows up. He's like, Danny, you've been chosen, or whatever, and he has the Iron Fist and stuff. So it just shows what, I guess, his place looks like a little bit. It's always snowing, it looks like, whatever. Davos and Danny have a disagreement where Danny says he wants to stay here, but Davos wants him to come back because his whole point, Danny's whole point of being the Iron Fist is to defend this place, which has an opening or a gateway that opens every 15 years. I don't think I ever mentioned that, but really it doesn't matter. But a gateway that opens every 15 years where the opening leads to our dimension. Did I ever mention that? Where he is from is a different dimension, kind of like, I don't know, maybe some Doctor Strange-esque stuff going on, who knows. But they have a disagreement, but Davos, starts to work with Danny and agrees to help him. Danny gets fixed up by Claire because Danny got that shank wound. And there was one thing I didn't mention about that shank wound. The thing that Bakudo used to stab Danny looked really weird, and I should have said this in the video because I guessed it immediately. It was like a tracker or something like that. They didn't say yet what it was. There was just a thing inside him, and Claire took it out and was like, that's weird, and they threw it away. But I think that's going to come up in the next episode. Like, Claire's going to get attacked or whatever because she still has that thing in her room or her house. So I'm just going to guess there. There's a Luke Cage reference where Danny needs a new shirt, and Claire has a shirt from Luke Cage, and Danny's like looking like through no, he's not looking through, he's like, he has a finger through one of the bullet holes, and he's just like, is your friend okay, or whatever. I thought that was a pretty nice reference. Harold is becoming stronger. I noticed this because obviously, well, this is an obvious thing to notice. It's not like, I noticed this because I'm smart. No, I noticed this because the makers made it really obvious. This is what you should get from this, where Harold is training with punching bags, which you see him do quite a bit in this series, and he like hits it so hard it starts to break, and all the sand and stuff comes out, and he's getting stronger. I guess when he died, he came back, he became stronger. I don't know. I guess maybe that's building up to maybe a villain role in the next season or something, or maybe even in the Defenders. I don't know. Joy starts to actually not trust Harold too, because Harold keeps like out of nowhere just like breaking down and like, not breaking down, but like yelling and getting angry out of nowhere, which is kind of similar to what Danny does at times, where he just gets really angry out of nowhere. So she's starting to become a little bit hesitant towards her father, so I guess there's some good stuff there. Claire and Davos have a conversation, which was pretty entertaining. It was a little cheesy, but Claire is pretty much that character. And she kind of always has been, where Claire is the person that gets told information, so she's the audience surrogate, where she just gets told information. So Davos just keeps telling her, like, yes, the Iron Fist is this and that, and there's a dragon and shit. And it was a pretty interesting conversation. Well, not interesting. It was a fun conversation, because Claire kept having like reactions, like when Davos brought up a dragon, she was like a Komodo dragon or something. It was a funny little conversation. It's really obvious very early on that Davos is very jealous over Danny being the Iron Fist. It's very obvious. And it does come into play a little bit later in this episode, so I'll talk about that when it is relevant. Claire and Colleen have an argument about the Hand, because Colleen's a part of the Hand, and you find that the Hand may be like the good guys, and Danny is all about destroying the Hand, and Colleen thinks they're good guys because she grew up with them. So they have an argument. They meet up. They have an argument. Colleen says, like, I grew up with the hand, and Danny's like, I must destroy the hand. He says that about 5 million times in this episode, and that's where I start to really hate Danny, because he's so arrogant, he's all about one thing. He has no personality. He's just like, I need to destroy the hand, I need to destroy the hand. Even when we have conversations with him where he's, like, smiling and having a good time, there's just, like, no emotion that I feel like is being conveyed well from this actor. Like, it's just, I don't like Danny that much. I don't hate him. I don't. He's below average. You know, he's not terrible. Not that terrible. I don't know. We have another flashback where we see more of Kung Lao Jin or whatever. It's pretty interesting. Claire and Danny have an argument where Claire is telling him, like, hey man, you get angry all the time and stuff like that. Maybe you should, like, figure things out or whatever, like, and just, like, I don't know, start learning to trust more people, or you'll just become a weapon and stuff like that. And it's a decent little speech that Claire gives him. Danny again says about 20 times that he must destroy the hand, and it's becoming really fucking just like when the screenwriters wrote this, they were just like, I don't know what else for Danny to say. We can't come up with some character for him, so let's just put he wants to destroy the hand. That's his character. His character is X mark. Just X mark, and it says hand right in the middle of that. It's like the Ghostbusters symbol, except just put a hand. That's his personality. So I'm sure he'll get... No, there's only 2 more episodes. He won't get better. Danny, Davos, and Harold plan to kill Bakudo. Bakudo, of course, the head of the hand. They don't trust him. Harold doesn't trust him either, even though he brokered a deal with him in some way. But Harold wants to be controlled by nobody, I guess. This new Harold doesn't want to, at least, so he wants to kill Bakudo, and they plan to do that. Colleen gets captured by Bakudo because Bakudo told Colleen, next time you see Danny, tell me where he is, and she didn't do that, so now Bakudo captured her. She sees what the hand really is, which is not really conveyed well. You don't really know, but they are evil. It's pretty much confirmed they are evil. They do stuff where if someone goes out of line, I guess they siphon blood out of them or something. It was really confusing. I don't know what happened there, but you see like tables with blood covered in them, and it's like dark and dingy where she's taken she's on a wheelchair and stuff, and they're like not gurney, but they like strap her into the wheelchair so she can't get out. She fights a couple of her older students, breaks some bones and stuff. It was a decent little fight scene. And I guess, I mean, it ends off with kind of a whimper. It pretty much ends with Davos wanting, like, admitting to Danny that he wants to be the Iron Fist so bad, and that he kind of, I mean, he still likes Danny, but he really wanted to be that Iron Fist, which was we already knew that, so he's jealous of him. Also, I think the guy that plays Davos would have been a better lead than Danny. At least people wouldn't be saying whitewashing, because I think the actor is, like, I'm not actually sure. I think he might be I don't know, I'm going to be racist if I say maybe Muslim. I'm not sure. I don't know what he is, but he's definitely not white. So maybe that would have been a better choice. The actor's okay, too, so he might have been a better choice. Who knows? But that's pretty much it. It ends with Danny and Colleen kind of making up and stuff after Colleen escapes from the hand. And Danny's outside about to kill Bakudo, but he sees that Colleen breaks free, so he kind of rushes towards her aid, Decent episode. So I think I went through that pretty quick. Second episode in a row where we had no Ward, but I think the next episode does have some Ward stuff in it, so I'm interested to see what happens there. Overall, decent episode. There were some good moments. It was just a little bit too much of just Danny saying the same thing he says over and over again. He's not becoming a likable character, which I was kind of holding off saying I hate this character earlier in the season, because I thought maybe they'd build his character more. Like, at first he'd be single-minded, but then he'll, like, open his mind and stuff. And it kind of seems like towards the end of this episode, that's what they're kind of doing with him, like, embracing Colleen at the end. But I don't know. I still haven't felt it, and we're only 2 episodes away from it being over. So hopefully the Defenders, he's more likable. So anyway, there you go. That's another episode.